Steve here, an operational strategist from Advanced Global MSP Coaching, a team of Autotask experts. And we get asked a lot of time about migrating data. And I don't believe Kaseya is migrating data anymore. When they did migrate data, what they would do is take the data from the source database, and they would just jam it in to the Autotask, the destination database, and just if the field wasn't right or anything, and it just made kind of a mess of the data. That's not the process we use. I'm going to show you a much more methodical, controlled way to migrate data. And if you need any help with it, just let us know. So I need to go to the admin module because that's where all of the import information is. And I'm going to show you how to import tickets. Down here's a ticket import. Here's a time entry and ticket node import. But before we go there, I want to show you one other thing real quick. Over here in the downloads, so I'm in admin, feature settings, application wide, shared features, downloads, shared meaning shared across modules. This is where all your download import templates or your upload import templates are. And so anything that has an import template, you can import the data for. And I'm going to walk you through how to import ticket data right now. So we're going to go back into Service Desk. You go into Ticket Import, go into the Import button inside the ticket history, and I'm going to download the template from here. It's the same template as the other place, but I'm here all set up, ready to go. So click on that, let that open, and bring it down here where we can see it. So this is the template. The first thing I do is expand out so I can see all the column headings. Note that this is a legacy ticket ID. So the first thing we're going to do is when we come in here, we're going to populate all of the data, but we're going to start putting the data here. So the existing ticket number for the existing will be here, and then it just populates out. Once we get this in, what we're going to do is we'll click here and we'll insert a column, and then we take this column heading and move it over one, and then delete out column A. Okay, so now that ticket number that was coming over from the other system is in here as an external legacy ticket ID, and you'll see this across the board in the other import templates, the same thing. So then what we do is we go through Autotask ticket number. If we're importing data, we leave it blank. If we're updating or refreshing data, there's a way to export the data out of the database in import template form, make your changes in Excel, and then import it back in. That's one way to do batch updates on tickets. Ticket title is required, so if the data coming over from the other one doesn't have one, we make sure to kind of fake it and put something in there. Description is not required. Tags separated with this symbol. We don't recommend tags. And again, in order to import the data, you have to match the destination from the source, or match the source to the destination. And so tags is a bit cumbersome, and we usually skip tags. We just delete them out and don't worry about that synchronization. Account is required. And let me say right now, when you're importing data, the data, especially in the required fields, have to match exactly. So make sure that you export a list of your accounts from your destination database so that you can, with a VLOOKUP in Excel, make sure that the account name from the source database exactly matches the destination database, or it will create a new account, or it will exception out and won't allow it to be inputted. The second one is true. It exceptions it out. Some places it will create a new account, but not with a ticket import. So it's very important that things match, and we use VLOOKUPs to verify that the data. Location is not required. If it's critical, we'll use it. Otherwise, we just keep it blank. Contacts are important, and so we again export the contacts out of the destination database. We have the source database, and we do a VLOOKUP to make sure the contact names are spelled exactly the same. Status is required. If for some reason it doesn't exist, we'll give it a status coming in. Won't give it new, and won't give it, I don't know, maybe on hold or something until we get a chance to clean it up. Priorities required. At the very least, bring it in medium like everything else does. Sources are required. This is kind of an in-source, so we might change all the sources to in-source because it comes from the migration, or we'll leave it with the source database. It's kind of an in-the-moment call. But if one's missing, we just make it the source in-source because we're doing this in-house. Estimated hours we don't worry about. Required if no queue, primary resource. Again, very tricky. You got to make sure the resources in the destination database match the source database. If they don't match exactly correctly, you're going to get an exception. It isn't going to create a mess. It isn't going to make a mess out of the database. It just shows up in an exception report, and you handle it as an exception. If for some reason the employee no longer works, you're bringing in source data for an employee that has left the company. No point in adding an employee that has left the company in the destination database and redact them. So all we do is we set it into our name, and that at least gets us through the import. Role is, if you put it in the primary resource, role is going to be required. Doesn't say it here, but it will be. Require if resource no queue. We put it in a queue. It could be the support queue. It could be a migration queue. We might have created a queue just to hold the migration tickets. It all depends on what the MSP wants. Is fine with us, but we do make sure there's a queue. And again, make sure naming conventions match. Support and level 1 support, two different things to the import tool. Required ticket type, luckily Autotask defaults those. You just got to make sure, if it's Autotask to Autotask migration, you're golden. If it's something else, you just need to copy and make all these Autotask, make them all service requests. That's what everybody's using anyway. Ticket category is not required. But again, it's a good thing. We populate this field. Issue type and sub-issue, we usually blank out. I don't go through the work of trying to align issue and sub-issues, and because you don't want to take source issues and put them in the new database. If you're going to do that, just like Kaseya migrate your data for you, because that's what they do. They just smash it in there wherever it fits. We go through and methodically upcheck it, and in this case, we just don't bring in issue and sub-issue type. It would take way too long to do that matching. Division and product line, hopefully it's not being used. We do run into some clients that have product lines, and we put them in there. It's not a big deal. There's usually only 2 or 3 product lines, and usually only one having to do with tickets, but predominantly we leave it blank. Work type, it's interesting, work type isn't required here. You can import without work type, but go ahead, try making a ticket without a work type on it. So we make sure all the tickets have work types. Remote support is our default. Device name, all of this stuff we leave out. This is information that came from the source RMM. I'm not sure it matches the destination RMM, so I don't worry about it. Contract name, same thing. The chances of the contract name in the destination match in the source, pretty much slim to nil. If the client is emphatic, they need a contract on the historical data, we'll add it, but we don't go out of our way. Excuse me. Across the board, we use the import template, like I said, at least 6 to 12 times a year, migrating data from one database to an Autotask database. And in all the import templates, we have not found a bug or a gotcha except for in tickets. And that's why I picked tickets to talk about how the import tool works. Don't try and import service level agreements. The reason is because resolution plan is not an import field. When you go through here to anything with service level, your resolution plan will be missing, and that's a required field for the import tool, but it's missing out of the import template. Go figure. So don't bring in SLAs. We just delete them out. Create date, it doesn't say it here, but it's required. Created by resource or created by contact. We make sure those fields are populated. Complete date, only if it's a completed ticket. Required due date, go figure. So, just dummy up a date if you have to. It should be coming with the data, but if it's missing. First response, that's an SLA. Don't fill it, don't populate this column. First response resource, don't populate the column. Resolution, SLA, don't populate. Completed by, go ahead. I'll give you a little hint. If there's a completed date, it wants a completed by. And if there's a completed by, it wants a complete date. It doesn't say it's required, but either both these fields have to be populated or neither one. And you run into this when you do an import. It shows up in your exception report and you go, aha, note to self. Co-manage visibility. And then these are UDFs. And this is why every import template to every Autotask is unique. It's because of these UDFs. You have to make sure these UDF fields are identical. And so you can export and import template, but you can't take that to another database. You can't migrate that to another database and import it. You have to copy and paste it across. Even if you're doing Autotask to Autotask migrations, you still need to copy it from the export import template format to the destination import template. And don't change anything in row 1. You saw that I did add a column and I moved this across, but I didn't change any of the words or anything. Don't change row 1 at all. So that's the import template. Once you have it, save it somewhere. We save it to my downloads folder. It has to be saved as a CSV. These are the import templates. There's nothing in them. Notice they're Microsoft comma separated or CSV. So I'll open that. Notice we have some checkboxes. Send workflow rule notifications when tickets are created. Send note workflow rules when tickets are updated. I don't do this, mostly because I do thousands of tickets. You can import more than 2,000 tickets at a time. It takes about a half hour, 45 minutes per import of 2,000 tickets. The numbers around like 225, 250, 2,500, 2,250, somewhere in there. I don't get close. I start with 5 records, look at my exceptions, clean those up. I do 10 records, clean up exceptions, 20 records, 50 records, 100, 200. Once I'm getting to 200 records and there's very few exceptions, I go for broke and start importing 2,000 records at a time. Like I said, it takes me 45 minutes. So if you're doing 10,000 records, which is typical, we'll do 10,000 records, and it will be roughly 2.5 hours to do 10,000 records. So there you go. Now keep in mind, 10,000 records are tickets. Users are much quicker. If it's 4 or 5 users, I just put them in using the copy tool. If it's more than 10 users, we'll use the import tool. Clients, we use the same process, 5, 10, 15, 50. And then by the time you get to 50, you might as well just do the rest. You don't have 2,000. At least no one's called me and said, I want to maintain our database and we have 2,000 clients that need to be. I've never done that. Typically, we do clients first, then we do locations, and then we do contacts. The only time you can use the account contact template is if there's no locations. Everybody is co-located at headquarters, then you don't need location. The minute you need a location, you might as well do accounts, clients, locations, and then contacts in that. So talking about 10,000 tickets, that's pretty common. Keep in mind time entries. We only bring across tickets with time entries. We don't bring over the noise. So the majority of the tickets, anywhere from 20 to 60, 66% of the tickets will be completed with no time in it. That's just noise. It was our data RMM alerts that were just completed. No one ever engaged on it. So we don't bring that over. We bring over tickets with time entries. So if you have 10,000 tickets, you're going to have at least 10,000 time entries. Some things, especially moves, adds, and changes, are going to have multiple time entries. So plan on, if there's 10,000 tickets, there's going to be 20,000 time entries. And then to bring over the notes are 4 times that. So if you have 10,000 tickets, plan on 20,000 time entries and 40,000 notes, ticket notes that you're bringing in. So all total, you're around 70,000 records coming in. You're doing 2,000 at a time. Wow, that got up there pretty fast, didn't it? But anyway, you're doing 2,000 at a time. So you're talking about 17 hours of work importing 10,000 tickets because of the time entries and that. So yes, and we have done that. We know well. And there's other nuances. If you're migrating, you can't do this in a weekend. I just said that. It's 35 hours worth of work. You can't do it in a weekend. So what we start with is the oldest date, and we migrate a month at a time, and we do a year. We go back a year, and we do a month at a time. So basically in 10, 11 days, we have everything. 12 days, we have up to the month we're in. And then we pause for the transition, the tech transition, which is over a weekend. And then that last weekend, we bring in all the open tickets, and all the month tickets that were closed in the month. Monday morning, the texts come in, they're good to go. Those are much smaller batches. Takes a couple hours. We ask for an 8-hour blackout window while we're moving data, but that's because we're probably moving more than just tickets, time entries, and notes, and leave room for Murphy. So now that this is here, I uncheck these boxes. I don't do workflow rules. Let me pause you here. Big red flag. I wish I could pop up a slide right now. Big red flag. Make sure you turn off your customer-facing communication notifications, because the import tool is going to see this as a new edited ticket. So you have something waiting customer, you bring in an open ticket waiting customer, it's going to notify the client that you put a ticket in waiting customer. You did, you imported it, but the import tool is going to say this is a status change. It's going to notify the client. So when you're importing tickets, be sure, even if it's a merge ticket or whatever, be sure that you turn off all your client-facing communication before doing imports. Update existing ticket numbers. It depends on what you're doing. We do migrations, so these are all new tickets. We leave it unchecked. However, there are times when people want us to do a batch cleanup, and so we export in import template format, clean up the data in Excel, and import it back in. And when we do that, we check this box, update existing client. So at that point, you're ready to go. You click the import button. My template here is empty, so I'm not going to do that, but I am going to jump back here. These are our exceptions. As you can see in this report, through 3 duplicate tickets were found. 3 have been updated. 3 duplicate tickets found. None have been updated. 3 duplicate tickets were found. 0 have been updated. You want to view the exceptions. So here's the sequence of events. I was doing something and all the tickets imported except for 3 tickets. This is my exception. I fixed those, tried to do it again. I don't know, I missed something else. So it gave me an exception. 3rd time's the charm, right? Boy, don't we always hear that. So let's look at an exception report real quick. There it is. And naturally it opens up on the wrong screen. So we'll do this. So again, the first thing I do, span this out so my old tired eyes can see it. Tag on is inactive. Tag air is inactive. Tag. Didn't I tell you that tags are a pain in the butt? Did I tell you that? So they have all these tags in here. So, and this is blank. We're updating these fields. So let's just go through. Here are the tags. Okay, I'm going to give you a hint. Insert. I'm going to take this, Control C and Control V, and then I'm going to delete this out. And there, I just deleted all the tags out. Now, in my mind, I'm good to go. Why didn't I do that last time? Who knows? The other thing I'm going to show you is I can delete column A, because this exception is in import template format. At least that's what Autotask tells me. So now I can save it. So it's ticket import template number 13. So now I'm going to go back into import. This is a demo database. It's full of junk, so I can only imagine what this is going to do. So there's the exception report that I just exported. There it is. I'm going to uncheck my boxes. I know the tickets are in there, so I'm going to check this, update existing tickets. And let's see what this does. It's going to give me a note. you will be notified to my email address, and feel free to email me to tell me you saw this video. And I'm going to say, okay, I know that. It's 3 tickets. I can't imagine it taking that long. Look at this. It's already here. So if it's not here, I just refresh. But it is here because I have exceptions. And it's going to tell me these tickets exist or something. Who knows what it's going to tell me. But we're going to find out here as it opens on the wrong page again, right? So now we're doing ticket import template number 14. There we go. And reason for failure. Status is invalid or inactive. Priority is invalid or inactive. Required queue. Required if no queue. So, you know, anyway, there you go. So I satisfy these things and then try again. And you know the drill because you've seen it in my example. So I hope this has been helpful. If you need more information, just email me at info@agmspcoaching.com. That email again is info@agmspcoaching.com. Other than that, have an awesome day.